Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's Jay Jordan here, and today we're going to recap the New York Liberty's home win against the Phoenix Mercury. This was the second time the Liberty played the Mercury at home. They won the first one back in June with a final score of 89 to 71 on June 18th. Granted, in that game, Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner didn't play. Also, Michaela Onyenwere went out midway through that game or in the first quarter with a facial injury. But we did win that game. So playing them again with their full squad, sans of course Skylar Diggins Smith, who's been out the whole season. It'll be a test for us to see how we would guard Brittany Griner, because she's a very elite post player and taller than basically everybody, so she can score fairly easily. So in today's video, we're gonna go over the game itself. We're gonna go over the box score, touch a little bit of the press conference. I'll always give my thoughts on the game and on the team's progress as we progress through the season, and then we'll head on out of here. As always, guys, if you like this content about the New York Liberty, make sure you leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. Sorry, hit the subscription button, and also turn that notification bell on so you get notified whenever I post, whether it's a recap video or going live for watch-alongs. Well, all right. So the Liberty win this game 99-95 on July 5th at the Barclays Center. It was a 7 p.m. tip. The usual starters for both teams. The starters for the Liberty were your Courtney Vandersloot, Sabrina Ionescu, Benijah Laney, Breanna Stewart, and Jonquel Jones. That's been the typical starting five when everyone is healthy. And for the Phoenix Mercury, their starting five, they came out with Mariah Jefferson, Diana Taurasi, Sophie Cunningham, Brianna Turner, and Brittany Griner. The Liberty started off really strong. We came out really aggressive. We were hitting our shots, playing solid defense. It looked like Phoenix was still trying to work their way into the game, but we got out to a double-digit lead early, and at the end of the first quarter, we were up 26-13, which is like, all right, cool. We're on a good roll. Everything is moving smoothly. Let's continue to keep our foot on the gas and get this win easily. But then the typical Liberty thing, as we've been seeing in a lot of the games against decent teams, the bench comes in and they start to turn the ball over a lot. They start having stagnant possession, start traveling, start trying to do too many pinpoint passes, taking stupid shots, and they let Phoenix back into the game in that second quarter. Phoenix scored 33 points in that second quarter to our 27. So as you can see, they outscored us that quarter, so they cut into that lead that we had. The third quarter, I think that's when everything changed. We were up 53-46 in the third quarter to start. We went on a nice little run. We went up by as much as 20 points in that third quarter. I think the score was like 73-53. We were up, and then in the flip of a switch, things just turned on its head. Kayla Thornton was guarding Diana Taurasi. She got her first flagrant foul penalty, one for not letting the shooter land on Diana. So on a 3-point shot, so Diana goes to the line, hit all 3 free throws, and then they get the ball back, of course, after the flagrant shots, and then she hits a 3 immediately. So she had the rare 6-point play in that one possession. Kayla Thornton does go back down and scores, and then after that, we trading buckets. Phoenix starts scoring a little bit more, and then to end the third quarter, Kayla Thornton gets a second flagrant one for the same foul on the same player on the same type of shot. Doesn't let Diana Taurasi land, depending if we think it's questionable or not. That's what they called after review. Kayla Thornton gets ejected at the end of the third. Diana hits all 3 free throws. So that's when everything started to change for us. That fourth quarter, it was more of the same. The third and the fourth, just turnover filled quarters, just couldn't hold on to the basketball. It's a reoccurring problem for this team that I've been talking about for a lot of videos, where they get into these spells where they just can't. It's either it's a shot clock violation, a moving screen, or they're trying to pass the ball to somebody, or trying to thread the needle and it goes out of bounds, or they're just getting ripped. It's a reoccurring problem. Phoenix capitalized. Diana Taurasi started killing Britain. They were messing up on switches with John on Brittany Griner and Jonquel Jones, and the switching it wasn't working as well. And Brittany Griner started scoring and getting fouled. They started going to the line a lot, hitting their free throws. I think Sophie Cunningham also got fouled on the three and hit it by Sabrina. So that was a 4-point play there. And there was a point where in that fourth quarter, they actually took the lead with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Michaela Onyenwere, the ex-Liberty player, I think she took Courtney Vandersloot down in the paint and scored a layup. That was their first lead since like the very beginning of the game, like the first couple minutes of the first quarter, which was alarming to say the least. Throughout all of this, I will say that Breanna Stewart was carrying us. She had 20 plus in the first half again, and I think midway through that third quarter, going into the fourth, I think towards the end of the third, going into the fourth, I was talking to one of the people at the game, and she told me, she was like, yeah, I think Brittany's gonna Breanna's gonna going for 40. I'm like, yeah, she's going to need 40 plus for us to win this game the way that things were shaking out. And indeed, Breanna Stewart had 43 points and 12 rebounds and 6 assists, I believe. That's the second 40-point game from her this season. She has two to three 40-point games in Liberty history, if I remember correctly. And she's just what a talent. She's incredible, and we needed every one of those points for us to win. Towards the end, we turned it up on defense. We got a couple key steals, and Breanna Stewart hit like a floater to put us up 99-95, in which we went on to win by that score. I think she hit a free throw as well to put us up to win the game. We can take a look at the box score so we can see actually how everything looked there. All right, we'll start off with the Phoenix Mercury, the away team. So as you can see, Breanna Turner had 4 points, 2 rebounds, 6. She fouled out in 28 minutes. Her job is not really to score. She's mainly there for rebounding, probably a layup here and there, and playing defense, which is why she had 6 fouls. Brittany Griner, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. She had 4 turnovers and 2 blocks as well. She was just getting down in the paint. She was shooting over and then shooting over Jonquel, even though Jonquel is a pretty tall player. But that was that. Diana Taurasi, the old veteran, the old lady, still out there doing her thing. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 and 9 from 3, 6 and 7 from the line. All 6 of those free throws were on the flagrant shots that she had to, the flagrant shots that Kayla Thornton fouled her on. But she came alive in that third quarter. She couldn't miss. Mariah Jefferson, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. She had a couple mid-range pull-ups, in and out dribble, midi pull-ups. We were fouling a lot of their jump shooters. They went to the line a lot from us fouling jump shooters in that game. I can clearly remember at least 6 plays where we fouled a jump shooter, and they actually made the bucket as well. Sophie Cunningham, less damage than she had last time. 12 points, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, 4 fouls. For their bench, Michaela Onyenwere, 19 points off the bench, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. She was doing the thing. She was getting to the basket. She was hitting her threes, hitting the mid-range jump shots as well. And the rest of their bench, nothing to really write home about. Only Shea Petty hit another bucket, 2 points. So they had 21 points from their bench. For the Liberty, Benigja Laney continuing to play good offense, double digits in, I think it's like 5 of the last 7, 6 of the last 7 games. She had 14 points. Breanna Stewart are the main dog, 43 on 13 of 20 shooting, 16 free throws, made 14 of them, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. All around effort from her, and we needed every one of it. Jonquel Jones, 13 points, 4 rebounds. We could have dealt with some more rebounds. I have a lot. I'll talk about her a little later in the video. Courtney Vandersloot, 8 points, 7 assists, 2 turnovers. Not her most impressive game, but she was a plus 22 in her minutes, so we played well when she was on the floor. And Sabrina, 11 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. She has days where she scores a lot, but she's always helping out on the boards and usually getting assists. She did have 5 turnovers. I do remember a few where she slipped on the floor and threw it away or just turned it over outright. She really needs to cut down on those turnovers. She needs to look at herself more as a scoring guard instead of trying to be this Courtney Vandersloot-ish player. Not to say she shouldn't pass the ball at all, but she's trying to thread the needle most times or trying to do an overhead pass, and she's already short. And when those passes go awry, they turn into easy buckets at the other end. For our bench, Kayla Thornton, before she got ejected, she had 6 points. She hit 2 threes for us. Niara Sabally had 2 points and 2 rebounds. Marine Johannes, 2 points. We need Marine to produce more on the offensive end. And when she's out there, she's coming off dribble handoffs, and she's not really looking super aggressive sometimes. So I don't know if that's play calling or if that's the way she's playing, but we need to nip that or get that corrected. And Jocelyn Willoughby, no points in 4 minutes. Yeah, Stephanie Dolson still out with the ankle injury. Han Shu just came back from Asia Cup, so she was out for rest. And Epiphany Prince did not play. Let's take a look at the team stats overall. For the percentages, the Liberty shot 49% from the field. Phoenix shot 50% from the field, which is not good. We need to get that percentage down. From 3, we were 11 from 25. They were 9 for 20. They still shot a better percentage, 45% to our 44%. Went to the line 28 times, made 24. They went to the line 22 times, made 18. We shot 85%. They shot 81.8%. Out rebounded them 30 to 25. Out assisted them 27 to 23. They had 7 steals to our 6. They had 5 blocks to our 3. And this is the part that I mention every video, turnovers. They had 17 turnovers. Even though Phoenix had 15, they had 17. And Phoenix scored 22 points off of those 17 turnovers. We scored 20 off of their 15. The turnovers have to come down. There's no other way to describe it. They have to come down. Fast break, Buoyancy had 14 to their 13. Points in the paint, they outscored us heavily, 42 to 32. And they had 25 fouls to our 20 fouls. We had 2 flagrant fouls. They had 1 tech on their coach. And the largest lead, we had a 20-point lead in that third quarter, which we squandered away. Yeah. So, all in all, it's the same issues that have been plaguing us all season, the same issues that reared their head again. The turnovers and the lack of offensive efficiency when Breanna Stewart is not on the floor. When they had a lineup out there of like Niara Sabally, Benigja Laney, Kayla Thornton, Sabrina, and Marine, or Sabrina and Marine, that lineup just can't produce enough. Nobody commands enough attention in that lineup to make it easier for other players. because when Breanna's out there, all eyes are on Breanna. So then that leads to somebody being open. Sabrina doesn't command that much of attention when she's out on the floor with that lineup, which causes the paint to be crowded. And if you're not hitting your outside shots, then it's a recipe for disaster. Also, there's not a lot of off-ball movement. I notice sometimes. I know when Vandersloot and Benijah are on the floor, Benijah's cutting. If Vandersloot's driving, Benijah's cutting, flash in middle. But it's a lot of standing around sometimes on the opposite side of the floor. Where in regards to Phoenix, I saw a lot of movement, a lot of screening in the middle of the paint. Getting Brittany Grind, having John Qual have to make a decision with switching on to Brittany Griner or staying with the person that screened, which led to some easy buckets as well. But I will say this was their 16th game. Still almost 4 games from the halfway point of the season. It's still a work in progress. I know I'm trying to give them grace, but we all know the issues and they just have to be addressed. You just have to take care of the basketball. 17 turnovers. You cut that in half, and this game is not even close. But 17 turnovers leading to 20 points off the turnovers. You cut that in half. That's 10 points, and this game is nowhere near as close as it ended up being. Well, the Liberty winning at home, that brings them to 6-2 at home. So they're now 6-2 at home and 6-2 on the road. Their 2 home losses, of course, coming against the Chicago Sky and the Atlanta Dream, and their 2 road losses coming against the Mystics during the season opener and the Aces game last week. Before the All-Star break, there's 2 more games. They play Seattle again at home on Saturday, on what is that, July 8th. And the final game, which is probably the most important game of our early season, we play the Indiana Fever on Wednesday for a Commissioner's Cup matchup. That's the final Commissioner's Cup game of the season for the Liberty. If they win, they will be the representative for the Eastern Conference in the Commissioner's Cup, presumably against the Las Vegas Aces. So winning, we're in. If we lose, we have to hope that Chicago beats the Connecticut Sun on Wednesday as well. Both games start at the same time, 12 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday the 12th. So we handle our business on Wednesday. We'll be in the Commissioner's Cup final game. We don't. We just have to wait and see what happens with Chicago and Connecticut. I'm gonna touch on a little bit of what I saw during the press conference from the reporters on Twitter. It's not nothing crazy, but I just want to just touch on a few things. Coach Brundello on performing in the clutch mentioned, quote, "It's a great stat to have. We have Breanna Stewart. That helps. They can buckle down, get the necessary stops, and the execution we need," end quote. Another quote from Breanna Stewart. She said, "We know Phoenix is a good team. They haven't had time with a healthy roster. When referring to Diana Taurasi, gets going, it's tough. There's not one moment in the game where we shouldn't have a sense of urgency. We'll take the win, but we need to continue to get better," end quote. Coach Brandello talking about pace said, quote, "I don't think we played at the appropriate pace tonight. Sluty is so crafty. We'll review the tape and we'll keep growing. We're happy with the win, but we're not satisfied," end quote. She did mention the fouls on shooters. In short, she basically said we need to practice flying by. You can't stop in front of the shooter, because a lot of shooters, when they shoot a jump shot, they jump forward, or they land a little bit more forward than if they're not jumping straight up and down, and that could lead to the flagrant fouls that KT received tonight. In a brighter note, they didn't talk about Michaela Onyenwere. Benijah Laney said, quote, "She did really well when she was here and does really well in Phoenix. I'm happy to see her continue her success. Obviously, we don't want her to be good against us, but it's good to see her flourishing," end quote. And those are just a few of the quotes that I saw from some of the beat reporters on Twitter. in reference to the game. Well, that's all I have. I already told y'all all my thoughts about it, about this game. Turnovers, better offense. Um, I will, before I leave, I will mention Jonquel Jones. She's having spurts. I'm still giving her some grace, but sometimes when she's out there, it's like she, as being a former MVP of the league, it's tough to see like the decision making, the shot making isn't always there. The basketball IQ looks like it's suffering a little bit, or it degraded a little bit from her time in Connecticut. I don't know what to make of that, but it's a hard to see when she's out there and she's doing things like she catches the ball and she's bringing the ball down below her knees to try and power up, and she's getting stripped, or she's taking these like one-legged fallaways that she used to hate, but she's shooting it over the basket now. So I know that with that stuff comes a lot of reps and just getting back into playing basketball on a new team. You're not getting as many touches as you used to, but I think if you show better improvement with the touches you have, that leads to getting more touches. Especially like when Breanna Stewart goes out, then we can run the offense through you, and you can be the dominant force. I think that was the goal in bringing her here. But we'll see what happens in that regard. Our bench also needs to contribute some more. Marine has been struggling the past couple of games on both ends of the floor. She hits a couple shots here and there, but it doesn't look as seamless or as fluid as it did last year. I know she's not getting probably as many touches as she did last year due to the talent we have on the team, but I think we can improve in that area. Also, Hanshu, we need to find a way to get her some more minutes. She was dominant in the Asia Cup. I know it was a different level of competition, but Han Shu, even last year, she played really well in her minutes. So I think her coming off the Asia Cup feeling good. She had like a 30.11 rebound game over there. Had like a 20.12 rebound, 2 block game in the final game that won them the Asia Cup for China. So I think getting her some more minutes will definitely help us. She's a very talented player, can spread the floor, play defense. I know she's a little lanky in the frame, but I think she can. She's very mobile and more mobile than some of our more slow-footed bigs like Steph Dolson and Jonquel. So give them some spells off the bench. Give a different dynamic on the floor rather than the bigs that can't really post up like that. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in as always. There won't be any watch alongs this week. I think the next watch along I'll end up doing will probably be either Sunday, or we'll just have to wait till Wednesday for that Commissioner's Cup game with the Liberty. But until then, guys, remember to leave your comments down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that noti bell so you get notified whenever I post. Until next time, salute.